If there was one bike that could do it all, everything, or nearly everything, for me, it would be this bike.
What is a do-it-everything bike? It is a motorcycle with which you can commute, you can travel some, and you can also take it to track and also have a lot of fun. And this motorcycle fits all of them. And it is the Yamaha MT09 SP. Now the MT09 has been a great motorcycle for a number of years now. Earlier it used to be called the FZ9 and then became the MT09. And since a few years there has been an MT09 SP version, and the one that I'm talking about right now is the MT09 SP from 2024-2025. The MT09 has been a great motorcycle. The SP version is even more so at a premium price, and we're going to have a look at the SP version right now. First, let's do the numbers. At the heart of the MT09 SP or the standard MT09 is a 890cc triple with a crossplane crankshaft with uneven firing order, belting out 119 horsepower at 10,000 RPM and 93 Newton meters of torque. That is somewhere around 68 foot-pounds, I believe, at just 7,000 RPM. In fact, at full throttle, you start to feel the torque pulling right at 2,500 RPM. That's the fun of the motorcycle. You know, usable torque. It's a great motorcycle. So basically, when you're opening the throttle, you're beginning to feel the rush of the bike right away. It is the low-end usable torque that makes this bike so much fun to ride. You don't have to wait till 9,000 RPM to be able to have fun on this bike. Right from 5,000 RPM, you are really pulling off. And at 9,000 RPM, if you're on fifth, you're already sailed past actually smoothly across the 200 kilometer barrier. And then, you know, top speed, sometimes it's beyond 220 kilometers an hour. Yeah, I've done 220 on my older MT09. The engine comes mated to a slipper and assist clutch. It is a 6-speed with a bidirectional quickshifter. More on the quickshifter a little later. It comes with a 14-liter tank or 3.7 US gallons, giving you a range of about 250 kilometers or about 150 miles. That's about 18 kilometers to a liter or 40 miles per gallon, depending, of course, on your riding style, how aggressive you ride. The bike weighs in at just 194 kilos or 428 pounds. That's really light for a 900cc, and with 119 horsepower, you can really rev the bike and really accelerate. I've had multiple red light drags with Booza owners, and you know, off the blocks, off the red light, you just scream off and the Booza is left chasing you. Of course, by the time you are out on the open highway, the Booza will pass you like straight past, but straight off the light, if you get a good launch, you can beat a Booza almost every time. In fact, just the acceleration on this bike is so good that it can keep you hooked for a very long time. Now let's come to the best parts of the bike other than the engine, of course. This bike, the MT09 SP version, comes with Brembos. Like, you have the higher end Brembo Stylema calipers in the front. It comes with 298mm rotors. For a bike that goes this fast, I would have preferred 320mm, but okay, I guess to keep costs down, they did it 298mm, but then I'm just guessing. And you have a Brembo master cylinder as well. Feedback is amazing, brakes are amazing, but, there's always a but, the lines are rubber. I would have preferred for a bike this caliber, the brakes to be steel braided. If you want to go on track, it's not designed for that, but you can. And if you're really pushing it, braking hard, the lines expanding, I would rather have steel braided lines in those situations. That said, this bike is excellent for track as well. The brakes are good enough for doing the occasional track day. Like if you, let's say you want to go to the track maybe 3, 4, 5 times a year, it's good enough. If you're taking the bike 100 times to the track, or even let's say 30, 40 times to track, then the MT09 will fall short, even the SP version. Then you need something like an R1 or even a 600cc super sports class. But that said, a few times a year going to track, you'll really have a lot of fun. You will be able to keep up with the 600cc's, probably even pass them. But if you're actually racing, you will need steel braided lines. You'll need to change out a lot of things then. Now let's come to handling. That is the best part of the SP version. Let's put it this way. The MT09 has never been a great handling motorcycle. In fact, the version that I had was a bad handler till I actually went on track, but then over on the track it handled okay just because the tarmac is so good. But the modern MT09 SPs, especially the 24 and the 25 versions, the handling is absolutely mind-blowing. The suspension is even better. In the front, you have fully adjustable KYB forks. When I say fully adjustable, it's rebound, compression, and preload adjustable. The compression is at the top and rebound is at the bottom. The rear shock is a high-end premium all-ins that is also fully adjustable, and it has a remote preload adjuster for easier access. You can set this bike up to your requirements and to the streets that you are going to ride on. The setup is simply great, and the result is a very good handling MT09. Big difference with the MT09 standard version and the MT09 SP is that this bike you can really push in the corners and go leaning, scrape your elbows. It is really good. The standard version also has adjustable suspension, but it is nowhere close to the SP version's suspension with the KYB in the front and the premium all-ins at the rear. What about traveling? I think it's a great bike to travel. I have used this bike to travel to Lancaster in PA to Pinnacle Overlook. That's about, 350 kilometers, 220 miles in one afternoon. Gone there, visited, taken pictures, flown the drone and came back. Easy peasy, no problems at all. Put in a couple of saddlebags, fill in the tank, go out. You can easily do 1,000 miles in a day, about 600 kilometers, reach a hotel, check in, go out next to the lake, take pictures, have a steak at night. Life's set, man. Great bike to do these things. I forgot to mention one thing. The ride position on this bike is adjustable. That is, not only can you adjust the handlebars, but you can also adjust the foot pegs. You can put it in a more aggressive position with rear set foot pegs, or in a more comfortable position, moving it up front. Let's talk about the electronics. Now, as far as the electronics go, this is right out of what has been used in the R1, the mighty R1. So basically, you have a 6-axis inertial measurement unit, IMU, and you have slide control, lift control, a 4-mode traction control system, a 2-mode brake control system, and of course, all these systems can be turned off. The MT09 SP has lean angle traction control. It calculates the speed differential between the front wheel and the rear wheel and the inputs on the throttle, and it intervenes to give you maximum traction on the road. And you can set up the traction control at 4 different levels. The MT09 gets 2 engine braking modes, a stronger engine braking and a lesser stronger engine braking. And this is a rare feature for naked bikes. You just don't get them. You get it on the R1s of the world. Besides the 3 power modes that you get, rain, sport, and street, you get 2 customizable power modes as well, which you can adjust to your requirements. And you get a track mode where you can also adjust your engine braking. The plethora of electronics that goes into this bike is absolutely amazing. There's a back slip regulator. It controls the level of torque on the rear wheel under aggressive engine braking to avoid rear wheel lockup. This comes into play when the slipper clutch is less effective, supposed to be excellent in low grip situations. As I was saying, this guy comes with a bidirectional quickshifter. Now, what is great about this quickshifter, normally how do quickshifters work? You keep the throttle pinned, you don't have to use the clutch, and you keep upshifting and it changes, or if you're bringing down the gears, you don't have to really blip and you keep downshifting and it changes gears. With the MT09 SP, you can open the throttle, keep it pinned, and downshift to get higher revs and then upshift to get better acceleration. Not something that you get to see regularly on a motorcycle. It's a unique feature to have, and it's really helpful in overtaking situations. There are some features that people may term gimmicky. I at times also feel that I may or may not use these features, but people do use them. You get used to them. For example, it has self-canceling indicators. If you're taking a turn, after 150 meters, the indicators will self-cancel. There's also a slight nudge feature in which you just nudge the turn signal, the indicator, and it will blink thrice if you're changing lanes. That's it. You don't have to actually engage the turn signal. Gimmicky? I don't know. Useful? Yes. You also get cruise control. Not with a millimeter radar like on the GT Plus that we saw in 2024, but it's a cruise control nonetheless. And it's, again, very helpful if you're traveling. At $12,499, the SP version, same price as the Yamaha R9. Very different bike, similar motors, similar, there are differences. Very different sitting posture. Is the price justified? I believe so. What does it compete with? You have the 990 Duke from KTM, which of course, when you want all the features, it turns out to be way more expensive. Like if you want a Quickshifter, if you want the tech pack and all of that, it'll starts costing much more. Then you have the Street Triple RS, significant more power, but you have the torque delivery not as low as the MT09. I do feel that the MT09 sits at a place where it does everything. As I was saying, it's been around for a while, extremely reliable. If I make a little bit more money, I would probably add the MT09 to this guy and arguably ride it more often. It's time that I leave the discussion up to you now. What do you think is a more do-it-everything bike? Which bike can do as much as the MT09 does in all these domains? I'd like to see your answers. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. I'll be replying to your comments, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Until then, ride safe.